All right. So, obviously, a big question going into the 2022 season is how good is TSM going to be? How good are their two new players going to be? They're two Chinese players coming over from the LDL. And not only how good are they going to be, how well are they going to fit into this TSM team? Not only are they going to be good individually, but we all know, competitive League of Legends has gotten to a state where it matters how much you fit in with your team, how you perform in a team environment, in that team atmosphere. They're definitely both talented players, but there's a lot of different variables here, coming to the LCS, playing North American solo queue, fitting in with the culture, the lifestyle, the environment, all that stuff, on top of needing to be a good, successful player individually. So there's so many questions, but today, we have a little bit more insight into how their off seasons have been going, how they've been performing, and maybe, we can find a little bit of information out, get some new expectations and everything. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be absolutely awesome. But with that being said, let's get right into this. So we got some posts from the Team Solo Mid subreddit. I thought this one was really, really funny because I made the video the other day about Bjergsen and how his Korean solo queue experience was going. And there's a lot of people on both sides. Again, I personally don't read too much into the solo queue, but I think it can tell you some things. It can tell you about champion pools or play styles. I think Bjergsen has a uniquely interesting case where he wasn't playing last year, so maybe a little bit slower start to his solo queue journey is expected, and he's learning a bunch of new champions and a bunch of new matchups and limit testing and stuff. But guys who have been playing over the past year, they don't necessarily have those excuses built in. Now, yes, maybe they've taken a little bit of a break since the past season. Maybe they're still getting up to speed, but I do think it's a little bit different. But again, either way, for anybody, I'm not reading too much into solo queue, but this was funny that Takeover outperforming Bjergsen in Korean solo queue was a post on the Team Solo Mid subreddit. They got a lot of upvotes. They said Takeover in 179 games got to Grandmaster 693 LP. Pretty good climb in that amount of games, and still going. And Bjergsen in 260 games ended up in Master 100 LP, and his climb is now over. Now this, serves a couple of different purposes. One, Takeover is the TSM Academy mid laner. So obviously this is praising Takeover. Say, hey, he had a good Korean solo queue climb. He looks like a beast. He's doing good. The other part of it, is TSM fans flaming Bjergsen, which is funny, interesting, gonna create more storylines going into the next year. But then again, at the end of the day, does this really matter all that much? No, it's good for Takeover. It's funny for Bjergsen, but these aren't even guys that are going to be competing against each other anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I did think that this was funny to see on the TSM subreddit. But the bigger news, and something that I actually wanted to talk about, was, well, one, we had this as well, that they posted Shenny and Kaido are learning English from Peter Zhang, which is funny. I don't know. It's like this picture of them looking at champions, and they're, I assume the champion names are like different and everything. And I don't know, kind of funny, because I do think, obviously this is a joke, meme, whatever, but I do think this is going to be a very, very big thing. TSM is a team known for having great interaction with their fan base, producing all this content, doing all this stuff. And if Kaido and Shenyi want to come to the LCS and be successful players, but also grow their brands, make a bunch of money, have big streaming careers, really have that impact with the fans that some past players like Bjergsen, like Doublelift have had, some of that is going to have to come with, fitting in America, learning to speak English good enough, to some extent. Obviously, fans are going to give them time to do that, and fans are going to care more about how they're doing on the Rift first. But if you have players on your favorite team that start popping off on the Rift, you want to hear trash talk from them. You want to hear storylines and narratives from them. You want to hear interviews from them. You don't want it to all come through translators and subtitles and all this stuff. So, obviously, that'll come with time. But, step one is figure out how to perform on the Rift. But if they do get this down to the level and extent that TSM management, some TSM fans thinks they're going to be able to, that next step of taking TSM, the brand, the organization, to the next level, the LCS team to the next level, and their own personal brands to the next level, is going to be that interaction and engagement with, Western fans. So I thought this was kind of cool. But the big news, the big story that I did want to talk about the most was Peter Zhang revealing Shenny and Kaido's Korean solo queue accounts. This has kind of been like an ongoing story and meme on the Team Solo Mid subreddit, talking about, what is, they're like people speculating about which ones are their Korean solo queue accounts and trying to find out who's who, so they can see how they're doing. Again, just like the Bjergsen stuff's interesting, just like the Takeover stuff's interesting, people want to see right now in the preseason, when there's no competitive League of Legends going on, we're so thirsty for, news and stories and action. We're just ready for the lock-in tournament. We're ready to get this stuff underway. So solo queues is as good as it gets right now. We can look at their past season's games, but nobody wants to watch LDL games too much. Or we can look at what they're doing in solo queue right now. So to actually see the 2 solo queue accounts of these guys was really, really cool. I think it's cool that Peter actually put these things out. maybe, I don't know, some people obviously want hidden solo queue accounts, some people want it public, whatever, but here are the 2 solo queue accounts. Again, this first one is Kaido. I don't know, this is my new laptop, so I don't have ad block on it yet. But I did think this was interesting. He is in 160 games. He's 95 LP master. So again, Bjergsen took 260 games to get around this level, and he's there in 160. So hey, he's got that going for him. He's doing really, really well. I believe they said his name translates to English notes or something like that. Something about English. But he's doing pretty well overall. Spamming a lot of LeBlanc recently, which is cool. Good to see. Everyone expects LeBlanc to be a pretty good pick, early season. Let's see what patch 12.1 does first, but LeBlanc's definitely a strong champion right now. And it's an aggressive, fun, fast-paced pick. But he also has a lot of these scaling, team-fighting mages as well. 62% win rate on Vladimir, dude. If he pulls out some Vladimir, I would love to see that. That would be very, very fun and very, very entertaining. If you can be a scary Vladimir, that's one of the most annoying champions in the whole game. And that just kind of makes me think back to, BB popping off on Vladimir in the finals for TSM and stuff like that. So if we could get some of that, I'd be all for it. But then seeing some of his, normal picks, Syndra. He has a 44% win rate on Victor. Yes, it's only 9 games, but just kind of interesting that he might be struggling a little bit on Victor, because when Tim looked at the LDL stuff last year, Victor was his main champion. He was a beast on Victor, and then Ryze as well. So, overall, things are going good. In his most played champions, he has good win rates. Sylas and Victor are only 1 game under 500. Ryze, Kai'Sa looking good. He was on a 4-game win streak, but then he had this game where he locked in Janna with Ghost Cleanse. It looks like everyone on his team was trolling. I don't know if this is something that happens in Korean solo queue or what. But I guess we can look past that one. But so far, so good in Korean solo queue for Kaido. Again, things look like they're going pretty well overall. Here is Shenny's account. This is Sakura Dog. He has not been doing as well in the Korean solo queue. He has 600 games and he's at Master 271. This is along the same lines of Bjergsen, with really high games played without climbing a ton, not having great win rates and stuff. recently he's won 5 out of his last 6, so that seems to be going pretty well. A lot of Lulu and Yuumi. And to me, this is interesting because he has, Lulu, Karma, Yuumi as some of his most played champions. And that was something that when Tim looked at him from the LDL last year was, missing. He played a ton of engaged champions. He was all about Rel, Leona, Alistar, Rakan, all this stuff. But he didn't have a ton of Enchanter games. He didn't have a ton of those ranged champion games. And seeing that he's playing a lot of those in solo queue is a good sign, and it seems to be going pretty well, showing that he does have those other playstyles. He has a 69% win rate on Lulu right now. That's awesome. Now, what I'm wondering is, why is he struggling so much on his engaged champions in solo queue? Why does he have a 43% win rate in Master on Leona? Why does he have, only a 50% win rate on Rakan? Why does he only have a 50% win rate on Alistar? Why is he struggling a little bit? Again, it's just solo queue, but at the end of the day, it seems like Kaido is, beasting in solo queue right now. He's doing a really, really great job. He's playing all different kinds of champions, which I love to see. And it seems like Shenny playing all different kinds of champions, working on those enchanters, getting ready for the season, but not having as much solo queue success. So I just want everyone who flamed Bjergsen to keep that energy with Shenny, because, they're kind of on the same path right now. But for me, I didn't really care when Bjergsen was struggling. I don't really care when Shenny's struggling, but I do think this is cool to actually see. And if you guys want to check out the solo queue accounts, just know that they are out there, they are public, and we do know, what they're doing in Korea now. So that is pretty cool to see. And getting to see him duo tactical, all this stuff would be really, really fun as well. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Do you care about the solo queue accounts? Do you read anything into any of this stuff? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.